And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today, we're going to be living in a universe of seasons, but we're not looking at the game seasons. We're looking at Lords of Xidit, which was a release at Gen Con 2014 here in the US. It's brought to us in the US by Asmodee. It plays 3 to 5 players, plays in about 90 minutes. This is a game that has some programming involved, some secret hidden things and people. Has you trying to go around trying to defeat monsters to get some gold or make some towers or have some bards singing your names throughout the neighborhoods. And the most interesting thing is how it scores. Let me show how it plays. I'll see you on the other side. At the beginning of Lords of Xidit, you get to pick a color, and in that color you will get an action programming board, which has 6 actions to select. You will get a nice stand-up figure to put on the board, and you will get a shield that you'll be putting stuff behind secretly with a cool character on it with your color, in this case green. Now here's the board set up for 4 players. We're starting in the second round just to get things moving and show you up here. Let me show you what you're trying to do in this game. There are certain cities. All the cities are pretty much numbered 1 through 21. And certain cities, there are going to be some threats or monsters that show up in some of these cities. There's also going to be some cities where you can recruit warriors and such to help defeat these threats. And you're going to be going around trying to recruit those people and then going to the threats to defeat them by using your action selection board. Once per turn, someone will be a start player, and everybody's going to secretly select what they're going to do for all 6 actions. Once they've done that, they're going to flip it over. Once everybody's flipped over, we will, now everyone will flip it back over and we will resolve in order from first. Everybody will do their first move in order from start player clockwise, and then second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth in this order. So let's talk about what these different moves do. Well, we have 3 different movements. We have a black road, a pink road, and a blue road. And that, of course, stands for the different colored roads on the map. So, for instance, if I'm green here, I can pretty much only move on blue or black. And so, for instance, if I had moved on blue for my first move, I would then move here. But let's talk about doing some of these actions at the city spots. So, instead of moving, one of those 3, the other 2 things you could do is that, which basically is activate. We'll talk about what that does in a minute. And wait. We'll talk about that too. So let's say, what does activate and wait do for you at a certain spot? Well, in this case, if I activate and I'm at a city where we can recruit, we will recruit the lowest person available. Now, on the back of your shield, it goes in order. It shows you here the orange peasants are the lowest, the green archers are next, the dark gray infantry is next, the white clerics, and then the purple battle mages are the strongest. And as you can see in this city, somebody had already gotten the peasant and the archer. They're gone because you have to go in order. It shows you on the tile which order you're going. So if I was to activate this tile, I would take the lowest person there, which in this case is the mercenary there, and I would put him behind my shield with the rest of my guys hidden from everybody else. And I want to really give kudos to Asmodee by putting these nice little minis in the game. Now, they could have easily have used colored cubes, but as you can see, they did a great job with the detail on these guys, and they look great. So if I was there at the beginning of my turn and that was activate, what if I had done wait? Why would someone do that? Okay, well, let's say I didn't take this guy. Let's say I had a feeling that this guy here was going to move here on his move 1, take there, turn 2. And I really needed this guy here, the cleric. Well, why would I need specifically a cleric? Well, see, when you go to a threat city where there's a monster, you need a specific amount of people to beat this monster. In this case, it's an archer and the cleric there. So let's say I had an archer, and all I needed was the cleric, and I really wanted to beat this guy, and that's what was over there at the city. So in this case, at the beginning of the round, if I think this player's going to go here and move 1 and take this guy and move 2, and I really want this guy, I could wait for 2 turns and then activate. So let's say this is how I set up my board. Now remember, everyone programs all 6 actions. We flip it down. Once everyone's done, we flip it up. Starting with the start player, everyone does their first move in clockwise, and then there. So let's say I did wait. On my first move, the red player moved here in his first move. My second move, I waited again. This second move, he thought he was going to get this guy because he figured I would have taken this guy. So now this red guy gets this, which he probably didn't want at the time. He didn't expect me to do this. Because I waited now for 2 turns, my third turn I activated, now I got the guy that I really wanted. And so my subsequent moves 4, 5, and 6, I went black, red, black. And so I would have moved black. Everybody else would do their fourth move. I'd go fifth, which is the red. Everyone else would do their fifth move. And then I would go sixth. Now that's my last move. I can't activate that because I didn't have enough moves to do so. But at the beginning of next round, now my first, assuming I have one of these green and one of these, the archers and the clerks, let's say I had those. At the beginning of the next round, my first move can be to activate this, and I can defeat this monster by turning these back in to the supply. Now when we do this, there's 3 possible rewards that are used for scoring in the game. There is gold, and in this case you'd get 4 gold. There are towers, and in this case you'd get 3 towers, or there's bards singing praises about you, and you would get 2 of those. Let's talk about these details in more detail. Well, gold is simple. I'd get 4 gold, and I'd put it behind my screen so nobody could see it. That would be one of the awards if that's what I wanted. If I wanted to build the towers, see the dotted line comes from this city where this monster was? I could build 3 towers here. Now remember, you only get to pick 2 of these 3 awards, but I'm going to show you all of them just to see what they do. And I would put a tower 3 high. They can never be more than 4 high, and there can never be another tower of this color here. So once I have a tower in the city, if anybody else destroys a monster in the city later, they cannot build a tower there. And that shows you I have 3 tall towers there. The last thing you could possibly do is put these bards. Now this is cool. These guys sing praises in the neighborhoods near you. I'm in an interesting spot because I have 2 of these that I can place. I can place them both in the same spot, or I can split them up anywhere. Because I defeated the monster here, I could put them here, here, or here. Now let's say I put them 2 here. At the end of the game, if I have the most in this region, I'm going to get 3 points towards the bards. Or 1 if I'm in second place. Same for here and here. Now this is an interesting one. This is the castle. If you beat one adjacent to the castle, you can put them in there and it's hidden for the rest of the game. People have to remember what it is. And the person who has the most in there at the end of the game is going to get 6. Second most is 4. It's just a different way of scoring. So essentially you have 3 different ways to score in this game. We've got towers, we've got money, and we have bards singing praises. We'll talk about how the end scoring happens later. Now since I defeated this monster, it's going to go back to the supply. And it will essentially be put right here, there for the supply. And this basically will start the pile to start putting the next recruitment tiles. Now, interesting thing to note here is that we can see what the next recruitment tile is going to be. For example, if someone pulls the last person off this, which is the mage, and this goes away to the other discard pile, this one will now come out to City 20, and the guys will get put on it. And this comes over here, so you can always see what's going to be the next 2 places that those tiles are going to come out in. Same for the monsters. People can see that whenever that one monster gets killed on the board, the next one out is going to be in City 2. The one after that's going to be in City 4. Well, since I just killed the monster in City 12, this is going to come out to City 2 and go on the board. And this is going to come down, and now we know monster is going to be in City 4 very much next, and then 18. And this is very interesting because on your turn, you can look at these and plan ahead. If there's nothing really right near you right now, you might be able to go to something that's going to be coming up soon, knowing that somebody's going to probably kill one of the monsters or finish a recruitment tile in that turn, and you can head to and kind of beat somebody off of the path to get to somewhere quicker than them for next round. Once everybody has done their 6 moves, this moves down to the next year. After the 4th year, we do a census. Everyone can pull out as many of the peasants, or the orange guys, from behind their shield, and they can show them. Whoever has the most gets 1 gold. Same for the archers. Whoever has the most is 2 gold. Whoever has the most here gets to place 1 bard token in an adjacent city. Whoever has the most here gets to put 2 bards in an adjacent city. Whoever's here gets to place a tower. So you can show as little or as most as you want, but it allows you to get things if you have a lot of people still there. Now, these are titans. So for example, at some point, the monsters may completely run out and they won't be able to get refilled from the other tiles. And so what happens here is all these guys get flipped over. And what this means is that you can be basically in any city that doesn't have a threat marker already. And you can basically need any 3 guys, any 5 guys, or any 4 men behind your shield to defeat these monsters. It allows you to defeat monsters when there's not as many on the board. It kind of keeps the game moving. So after the first census, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 more sets of 6 program moves, do another census, do 4 more, do another census, and then we go to final scoring. Now the endgame scoring is one of the most interesting mechanisms in the game. At the beginning of the game, these 3 types of scoring that we talked about, gold, bards, and towers, are going to be randomly shuffled and placed into scoring sections 1, 2, and 3. And so in this case, at the end of the game, we will go over whoever has the gold. We're going to look at gold first. And the interesting thing, in a 4-player game, whoever has the least amount of gold is out. So let's say red had the least amount of gold. They are pretty much done. They are out of the entire game. They cannot win. Now, in a 5-player game, for this first section, 2 people would get removed right off the bat. In a 4-player game, just 1 of them does. Now we know there's only 3 left. Now we go to the bards and we go off counting all the points that we talked about earlier that you got for having the most bards in certain areas. Again, whoever has the least, remember, you don't have to have the most, whoever has the least is out. So let's say green is out. Then we would go to towers. Who has the most towers? Well, it's only between black and blue. And let's say black had the most towers, so black survives and he wins the game. And it's a very interesting way because a lot of people are going to be fighting for this first, but you don't want to be last in anything. You don't have to be first in anything, but you can't be last in anything. Whoever has standing at the end of the game is the winner. And there is a variant to play this game with 3 players. The board gets set up different. There's different regions you can't enter. And these get started at certain areas. And then anytime, each one of these will have one of these. And then whenever somebody kills a threat, they can move any one of these up 1. And so it's kind of like a computer player having some amount of each of these 3 things. And that's how you play the 3-player variant with the scoring aspect. And again, the last player standing is the winner. Wow, there's Lords of Xidit. I've got to tell you, I'm not typically a fan of fantasy type games, killing monsters. I typically don't like those themes. In fact, I don't even like seasons. I know, kill me, I'm gonna get lynched in this video. But I really like this game. I borderline love this game. In fact, this was my 2nd favorite game of all the games I've played at Gen Con or since Gen Con that came out there. This is an excellent game. I typically like programming games, but there's something about this game where it's just elegant. I love it. I love being able to program where I'm going to go. I like guessing about what my opponents are doing, not knowing what they have behind their shield. In the census, did he have an orange peasant or not? If he didn't have one, was he just holding it back? Because we're both going to be going to the next place and next round, and let's see who will get there first. That little thing is awesome. Screwing with your opponents is awesome. Going there and waiting and taking something better that they didn't think they were going to take. Being able to plan and see what's coming up next in both the recruitment tiles and the threat tiles. Awesome. I love the way that when the tiles get flipped over, they become the pile for the other thing, like recruitment piles become the monsters and vice versa. But far away, my favorite part of this game is the scoring. I love this where it's like, hey, you don't got to be faster than the bear, you just got to be faster than your friend. It's kind of like that with this. So you don't have to be the best at anything, but you can't be the worst at anything. And I just love that. And I love how it's random every game too, because every game, people are going to be doing different things, and you're more playing off of what everybody else is doing. For example, the last game we played, the singing bards was first, and everybody was going gangbusters on those. And I just made sure it wasn't last, but then I really piled up on the 2nd and 3rd ones as fast as I could, knowing that I probably wasn't going to be absolutely last, because I had snuck some ones in those secret ones, and I knew I was getting at least 4 points from there, if not 6. And I thought I was good there, so I piled up in the end and ended up winning the game. But I love that. You're constantly trying to figure out gold secret, right? So you've got one thing that everybody can see, which is the towers. You get another thing that you can see mostly, which is the bards, and then you get the gold, which is secret. And it's always random which 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Love it. This game's amazing. It's awesome. Plays best, in my opinion, with 4. It's great with 5 too. 3 with if you don't mind playing with the computer-controlled thing. I don't think it's terrible, but it's definitely best with 4 or 5. But if you like programming games and you like this theme, the components are off the charts. The artwork's awesome. They could have easily have made those things cubes like Lords of Waterdeep, where you're picking up cubes and it's very unthematic. But man, they went through and did these great miniatures. Really great job on the components. Excellent game. Check out Lords of Xidit.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.